Today we're going to use some visualizations, specifically pivot tables, to put together a regression analysis about a couple of restaurants. So Mio Tanaka, the manager of a sushi restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona, is concerned that the weak economic environment has hampered foot traffic in her area, thus causing a dramatic decline in her sales. Her cousin in San Francisco, Hiroshi Sato, owns a similar restaurant, but has never seen the same decline in sales during these rough economic times. Hiroshi believes that a higher unemployment rate have likely forced some customers to dine out less frequently, but he maintains an aggressive marketing campaign to thwart this trend. For instance, he advertises in the local papers with valuable 2-for-1 coupons and promotes early bird specials on the radio. Despite the fact the advertising increases overall cost, he believes that this campaign has positively affected sales at his restaurant. In order to support this claim, Hiroshi provides monthly sales data and advertising costs pertaining to his restaurant, as well as monthly unemployment rates from San Francisco County. Mio provides similar data from her restaurant and the unemployment rate from Maricopa County over the past 2 years. The data can be found in the next tab. In your analysis, they'd like you to consider the following data when predicting monthly sales: month, year, advertising cost, unemployment rate, and city. So what we're going to do is determine the best regression equation to predict the monthly sales at these two restaurants. So we're going to use a pivot table, and we're going to look at what impact the city, year, and month has on sales. And then based from this, we are going to determine the best approach to develop our independent variables for the regression model. And we'll consider grouping months into the same average sales to be in groups. We're going to run an initial model, and then based on the analysis, we are going to come up with a final regression model. So the first thing here is we look at the data that we've been provided: month, year, ad cost, unemployment, and city. Let's put together a pivot table and start looking at some of this stuff. So I'm going to select the range. I already had some cells selected here, so it doesn't automatically select it, but that's fine. We'll go and I'll select all that as my data for the table. And so I am going to want to, we're going to drop it, we'll drop it right here. And then we'll hit OK, and there we go. We've got a blank pivot table. So the first thing that I want to do is let's take a look at what's going on in the cities. I think that's what they asked for first, wasn't it? Let's do city, year, and month have on sale. So let's look at the city. So I'm going to drop in the rows. I want to take a look at what the cities are. And then I want to look at the sales figures. So where is average of sales? Ads, cost, years, unemployment. Oh, I didn't grab everything over there. I wasn't far enough. Uh-oh. So what are we going to do? We're just going to delete this, and we're going to start over. So insert pivot table. I'm going to select our range. Not having sales in there makes it kind of hard. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drop it, and there we go. There's our pivot table with all of the stuff that we want. So I want to, once again, we're going to do city. Automatically go into rows. I want sales. I don't want sum of sales, though. I want what the average of those are. And so we can do this a couple different ways. I'm just going to hit the radio button, go value field settings, and go to average. And so now what that does is that's going to give me the average of sales. So as I look at things here, there definitely looks like there is a difference in the average of sales. Let's make that a little bit more robust, I guess. We're going to throw year into column so we can look at them through the years and see what it is. So I don't want this to, I'm going to play around with my pivot tables, and I don't want to lose this, so we're just going to go over and we are going to copy, and I'm going to come over here. Now if I just paste it, if I just go Control V and paste it, it's just going to paste another pivot table in here. I don't want to do that because I want this to stick. And it's mostly because, especially if I'm using simulations to do things, I want to keep the data that I've grabbed initially. So I'm just going to paste it as values, and then I can come back and right on top of that, I can paste the format. So now it still looks like those pivot tables, but it's not linked to anything anymore. And so let's come over here, and what I'm going to do is I'll change these to number so we can get them at 2 decimal places. Just kind of pretty it up a little bit because we'd probably be putting this into our report. And oops, I wanted to center in the middle. Just change this to total. Okay, and so average in sales into thousands. The row labels, let's change that to city. And the column label, which I will center across there, we'll call that year. And we can kind of leave it like that. We could move this up to the top here too. And why don't we do that? I'm going to Control V, Control C, Control V. I did that because I wanted the formatting to come with it, and we'll just merge and center it over there. So there we go. We've got a table. We'll put a bottom line in there. So our average sales. So it definitely looks like there is a difference between the cities. So we'll just put a note in there for our own edification. Looks like the sales vary by city. Okay, I'm going to come back over here. Now I want to just look at the year and see, okay, well maybe it's just something to do with the year. So we're going to get rid of city. I'm going to drop year in here. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Let's Control C. Paste the values over here, and then I'll drop the format on top of it and see what's going on with there. And so we will change these numbers to number. And so this is just, and we'll change that to year. Now this one kind of goes over a little bit. We could if we wanted to, we could fill in that. Let me just grab that same blue there. We probably want to redo this a little bit, so just to make it look a little bit better. But right now, that's fine for what we're doing. So I look at this, but the one thing I notice there's definitely a difference between cities here. As I look, it doesn't look like year really impacts it, because when I average the sales of both restaurants together, there does not appear to really be a difference in year. And so that's pretty important to note. Let's write that down here, that it does not look like sales vary by year on average. And so that's a pretty powerful thing, because it's like, you know what, maybe we don't need to be putting the year into our regression model, because it doesn't look like it's giving us any valuable data. So the next thing to do would be to take a look at what's going on in the months, and then we'll do that in the next video.